What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk about upcoming events for this week, things that investors need to realize and kind of watch for, because I do anticipate it being a very volatile week, a little bit more of a shorter week because of July the 4th. So premature, happy 4th of July to all the American subscribers and followers and viewers, everything like that. And also I'm going to give you my price prediction at the end where I see things going. But before I get into any of that, you guys definitely know the deal by now. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe. But getting right to it though, there is going to be several different things that are going to influence the price of Lucid. So overall though, looking at economic events, it's most likely on Thursday and Friday that a lot of volatility is going to follow. And I've always been a very big advocate of consumers, and I'm sure you guys are already aware that consumers have largely saved how the economy has, and they are still having their employment, so they're still maintaining their jobs, still earning income. And as of right now, there's been no real big data point to kind of say otherwise. So you can see on Thursday, ADP non-farm employment change. So in reality, it does look like the previous was 128,000, forecast is 200,000. So it does look like a huge spike up. So that is a little bit higher than expected if you ask me. So I don't know if that's just setting things up for failure because that's having a very high expectation, but still, you never know, right? So that's one thing that definitely will cause a lot of volatility if it is very much negative. If it is positive, then people will forget the inflation news and all the fear temporarily and will cause a nice little bump up. And then, like I said, so that is on Thursday. On Friday, similarly, ADP non-farm payroll. So that's, again, how much they actually earning, things like that. But in the case of the non-farm payroll, you can see that previous was 333,000. The expected is 240. So that's a little bit lower. So again, that's something, maybe it's just lower expectation. I'm not really sure. But in the end, though, both of those kind of events are going to cause a lot of volatility. In addition to CPI data coming out, that is going to be on the 13th. Not necessarily this week, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of institutions starting to chirp about recession, blah, blah, blah. It's all those kind of fear components. And you can see based on the chart as well, it has been going up considerably. So that's something maybe a lot of us need to factor in. And then similarly, like I've always been saying as well, you're going to get a little bit more of a manipulation on the short front. So a lot of shorts have been getting back into Lucid. We were lucky enough to get down to, I believe it was around 18%, but as of right now, we're roughly at 24%, extremely high. And even more so on Friday, it went up 0.84%. So definitely shorts are entering in pretty significantly. And despite the cost to borrow continuously going up, shorts is still getting in. So cost to borrow average 43.06. And once again, you see firsthand at manipulation for Lucid. Cost to borrow minimum negative 0.76. So insinuating there is a broker out there physically paying people to short Lucid. It's a little bit more of a backwards way and completely wrong, but again, this is the stock market, happens all the time. And shorts have always really wanted Lucid to go down below that pivotal point of $15, because once it hits that, then all the technicals start to kind of break down a little bit. And looking at the short score right now for Ortex, it is 89.42. The higher the number, the more likelihood of a squeeze happening, especially if there is positive news. As of right now for this week, there isn't really expected news for Lucid, but I have a weird feeling that something is coming out because there's a lot of things in the works. So hopefully something does come out, causes a nice little short squeeze if you ask me, and kind of gets us out of this negative rut. And then outside of that though, a few days ago, Lucid did post this highlighting and showcasing obviously the Air Grand touring performance at the Goodwood Festival, which in reality was amazing PR, got Lucid's name out there, and again, it can't hurt. So overall, that is a very positive thing. It's getting some views, definitely nowhere near what we're used to. If you haven't taken a look at that, it's only 1 minute and 40 seconds, so highly suggest just kind of watching that. But overall though, like I said, I think there is a lot of things that's going to cause a lot of volatility, especially a lot of people are coming out saying that hypothetically, despite us even going down, so you can see Michael Burry is even saying the S&P is down 25 to 26% in the first half of 2022, NASDAQ 34 to 35%, Bitcoin obviously 64 to 65, and that's not even factoring in the earnings. So clearly he doesn't really have that much expectation for this upcoming round of kind of earnings, and banks are starting to kick it off most likely next week. I believe it is in the second week of July. So again, that could cause a lot of volatility depending on how it is. But in reality though, the banks did just recently have a stress test in which it passed. So that hopefully is a good indication that we won't necessarily have a recession, and that Michael Burry is just hopefully wrong about this and just looking for his 2 seconds of fame once again. And again, my own 2 cents. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence. But with all that, just want to cap it off with some technical analysis. So right now, the 50, 100, 200-day moving averages, Bollinger Bands, RSI, stochastic, momentum. So overall, momentum, you can see number of buyers is starting to regain, starting to go back up a little bit. Stochastic, you see a little bit more of a deviation, red line above the black, showing a little bit more of a bearish sentiment. RSI is currently at 44, and on the actual chart, still lower percentile of the Bollinger Band. We are bouncing between some pivotal points. I'm just going to give you the macro and micro view of this. So looking at this, some of the Fibonacci, $17.67 is the point to watch for. So it has moved recently. So right now we're trading between S1 and the pivot. So 1566 to 1767. Like I said, if we do get to that $15 mark, which I hope we do not, then most likely I think the sentiment might change a little bit on Lucid. So that's my own 2 cents, how I see things and the psychological kind of what's happening behind the scenes with investors. But I don't anticipate that necessarily happening. I think in reality, the low might be around 1550. I don't think we have enough to get below that S1 unless a lot of this is negative, like I said about the consumer side. That's my own 2 cents as well, like I said. But looking here, just want to give you more so a micro view. One positive thing I just want to point out, you can see the first, second, and third resistance points. So 1754, 1807, and 1863. Overall, pretty tight if you ask me. So one good piece of news or just a little bit more of a rebound in the market could cause us to go up significantly. So that's a very positive sign. On the contrary, first, second, and third support points, 1645, 1589, and 1536. So this is where I get the point that I don't see us getting below this 1550 range-ish, if you want to call it that, because we do have the second and third support points making it very strong support. So take that how you see that. So overall, given the circumstances, I see us between roughly around the $16 to $17 range. That's how we're going to be ending. Keep in mind, like I already mentioned, Monday is closed because of July the 4th. So happy July the 4th to you all. But overall, not really necessarily much to say. It's just going to be kind of stagnant. And unfortunately, a lot of people get a little bit more bored. And when there is boredom, it kind of turns us mentality to a little bit more bearish, because a lot of expectation when it comes down to Lucid is that is going to the moon every single week, which isn't realistic, right? This is a startup company, still going to do a lot of good things, just it needs to establish itself. Obviously, it's very hard for a company to flourish as much as it is in a bear market. So you kind of just need to have a little bit more realistic expectations. But let me know your thoughts on Lucid and what they're going to be doing this week. And overall, let me know your thoughts on the consumer side. Do you think that they're going to have fairly good results from Thursday and Friday, or do you think it's going to be negative? What's your thoughts on that? Because I personally, like I said, that is one of the bread and butter, what's been keeping the market afloat. And similarly, a lot of other institutions have kind of reiterated that. Obviously, JP Morgan is saying that the consumer side is what has kept it up, and they anticipate that to continue to do so. And this is where they keep coming up with that we're going to see all-time highs at the end of 2022. JP Morgan, hands down, is one of the most optimistic institutions out there, 1,000,000%. So it's very interesting to see them do that, despite a lot of other institutions and even Michael Burry as well coming out saying, you know what, it's a lot of fear, blah, 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 recessions, things like that. Nothing good. So let me know your thoughts on that. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Greatly appreciate that. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.